Okay, Michele, I'm really glad we could catch up today. I thank you for taking the time to join us. Before we started, I just want to say a huge congratulations on your winning award, the best music score for the I Follow You.
Hvala.
Oh, I think it is an incredible accomplishment, and it's well-deserved recognition of your talent and, I believe, hard work.
Thank you. Yes, quite a lot. Yes.
And your willingness to share your expertise with my students is truly appreciated. We are grateful and very excited to have the opportunity to interview you about your work and all your achievements. And now I leave you in good hands of my students.
Okay. Wow, that's a lot.
Yes. Anna, in the middle, will introduce you to the other students here. And
Okay.
we can roll on. So,
yes, I'm ready.
Hi, as our professor said, I'm Anna, and we're from Gimnazije Andrije Mohorovičića Rijeka. And this year we had the chance to work on eTwinning project, which topic this year was film music, movie music. And so we already did some research on the topic and did some presentations, and we're very glad to have the chance to talk to somebody who actually worked in the business and can actually tell us something that happens inside, and we're very happy to have you here. And I also want to congratulate you on your latest award as myself and also as a class. It was a big achievement.
Hvala.
So can you briefly introduce yourself? Where are you from? How long have you been in this business? How did you enter the film industry?
Well, I am Italian, of course, born in Rome, even though I was living 16 let u Slovenija. Razumem malo slovensko, ni govorim hrvatsko, ampak razumem, malo. And I was born in 1974, so I'm 49 years old. And I started to study music when I was very, very young, a kid, 9 years old. But then, there was this up and downs. I was not sure yet what I would have done in my life. So my parents, both of my parents were filmmakers. So they were, my father was a production designer for movies and TV. My mom was his assistant and assistant costume designer. So I grown up in this industry, and I breathed this kind of atmosphere. I felt immediately that I needed to do something in this business, in this industry. And then I chose music because I was in love with with the Prokofiev, Rachmaninoff, and this. Prokofiev was one of the how can I say, one of the first film composer. He is Alexander Nevsky. The cantata from Alexander Nevsky is from his soundtrack for the Eisenstein movies, Alexander Nevsky. So I was in love with this music, and I started to think about it. And because I was living in a family entirely dedicated to the film industry, I choose to be a film composer. And I started back in 1992, my first short film. Actually, it was a documentary, never released, and obviously not paid. So it was about a Roman photographer, and I had to, at that time, I was a young teenager, and I had few synthesizers and sampling, and so I was just playing around and tried to do something, and that was my first attempt to do music for images. And after that, I finished my high school. I was in the conservatory, music conservatory, and I started composition and choir conducting. And then occasionally I met one guy which was working on a mini series, which my father was doing the production design of this mini series, and he was a third assistant director, I guess. So very young, he was just doing some experience, and he was shooting a short film, his own. So we met, and he said, my father introduced me to him and said that my son is just, musician, and you need the music. If you need the music, you can. And then we started this kind of a work relationship for several years. So we started with a short film, then another short film, then student films. So like you do a film in your class, and then there will be someone that do the music. That was me at the time. So and that was for, I think, 3 or 4 projects we did it in this way. And then suddenly he was hired by the Italian television to do a documentary about the cinema, the new cinema, new languages, and that was back to 2000. And so he called me back, and then it was my first serious job in the industry. And then, from then on, I started to climb a little bit and to do my experience. And then I did my first feature film in 2012. So now you can see how long it takes from the beginning till to score your first feature film. And when I say feature film, I said it was a series one from Rai Television. Not really well paid, but it was so exciting to be involved in the first feature film. And actually that was the beginning when I realized that would have been my occupation, my job. And but then from 2012 till now, another 12 years. So it's a huge amount. You need a huge amount of time in this kind of business. So that's how I started.
Okay, my next question was about your first job, but you already answered it. So now Petra will take over.
Hi, so let's talk about your award. How did you end up working on that project, and were you expecting that you will win?
No, I was not expecting that I would win. In fact, I thought I didn't even pass the nomination. I didn't receive any communication since the 1 month prior the awards ceremony, and that particular award is a kind of pre-Grammy award, like people that are the judges, the jury in that particular awards are all Grammy nominees or Grammy winner. And in fact, some of the people that got the award that evening, so in 2 of February, 2 days later, they got a Grammy. So it's a kind of pre-Grammy Award celebration, pre-Grammy Award prize, let's say. And it's a kind of it encompasses many categories in the entertainment industry, like singers, pop singers, rock, film music, actors, actresses. So all the spectrum of the entertainment industry is represented by that award. And I actually I was just getting some knowledge about that awards because of some other contacts I had. So I saw it, and then I thought maybe I can, can join, I can participate, I can send my job, my work, my soundtrack there. And then this is what I did. I mean, it's by chance. I got to know about that awards by chance because another guy I knew was running for that awards 1 year ago. And so I got the knowledge. I said, oh, that sounds interesting. And so then I sent this soundtrack I wrote for that movie. But actually that award, it's very important award. It's not as much as important as this one I have behind me, which is the Emmy Award, which I got 2 years ago. So it's not the same. I mean, it's important. It's very important for the entertainment industry, the World Entertainment Awards. Like, it's quite recognized by the entertainment industry. But that one is the television Oscar from America. You know, the Emmy. So that's the big one.
And talking about awards, how was to work with Ennio Morricone, a man who won so many of them, including an Oscar?
Yes. Well, with Morricone, it was pretty. It was a big school, actually. I mean, it was a lot of knowledge. At that time, I was assistant conductor of the choir, which were recording the music for Morricone's film, some of them, which were Vatel with Gérard Depardieu, Uma Thurman, and 3 television movies. And we were recording here in Rome in the Forum studio. And it was a marvelous experience. I mean, he was very exigent. He was very picky, very serious, no fun. I mean, no time for joking, nothing. He was very tough. And like you had a feeling you entered the recording session and it's not allowed to do mistakes. Like, he was on the mix room, and he was checking all the things, like soprano, well, you are a little bit flat, and the tenori, you are a bit too high, and conductor, you're not in tempo, things like that. And so it was and very creative. I'm telling you, these things happened. There was a moment in which they wanted to recreate some kind of how can I put it, contemporary effects with the voices. And so they changed it on the fly. It was not on the score. We didn't have that on the score. We supposed to do something else, but on the mix, they decided to change it. And so he came in the recording room, and then he said, we need to do this, and I need these effects. So he took papers from newspapers, right, in different languages. There was one newspaper in English, and then others were in Italian. He literally, cut the pages and gave to us 1 page for each singer, and he told us to read it backward, forward, you know, from the last word to the first word. So it was kind of a speaking, whispering effect, and it was so interesting what he did, just on the fly, and we were a little bit shocked at the beginning, but then we did it. So that was creativity. It was very interesting to work with him, and of course it's how can I say, it's a point of it's like a little medal I can you know, show to people and say put on my CV. So that's that's it will be always like that.
I have a question about your work environment. Do you prefer to work with smaller independent studios or bigger corporations?
You mean with the orchestra or with the?
Generally in the industry, when working on a movie.
That's always depends on the production. It's rarely depends on the composer. I mean, composer can choose. How can I say? It can choose the aesthetics, right, of the soundtrack. But usually it's the director and the producers or the production company that is has the last word. They are the decision makers, the real decision makers, and they told you, look, we need orchestra, but we don't have money for the orchestra. So then you need to recreate the orchestra with the, you know, with the instruments you have. So the sampling and the libraries and, you know, or they need the orchestra and you need to do a calculation. So it's actually I feel comfortable in whatever they ask. Like for instance, now I was asking to arrange a song from I think it's from Israel. I mean, it's an Israeli song because I probably do a documentary about the Palestinian-Israeli situation. So to arrange one from Israel, arrange one from Palestine, and to do it with the real orchestra. So we'd probably go to record in Budapest with the scoring film scoring orchestra there. And I'm comfortable with it. But then I do another project now, also in parallel, which the director said to me, we need just a piano and a violin. So in terms of music choices, I have, of course, some power, but not too much. And a composer need to be comfortable in whatever comes, every environment, every request. Film composer has to fulfill it. I don't know if I answer your question correctly. I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Thank you. Now they will be asked.
Okay. How do you typically find inspiration for your music?
Inspiration. It's a good question, this one, because many people think that inspiration comes, you know, like sitting and, you know, and just having a glass of wine, and but sometimes helps, but you know, and you know, lights are. But usually inspiration for film music comes from the story and from the film itself, and it comes from, you know, from different angles, different points. Like sometimes you read the script and you already know where it goes and which strings you have to pull it for the music you are going to write for the movie. Sometimes it's not sufficient. Sometimes you need the movie, and usually the composer comes and start to work when the movie is done, is locked in technically speaking. So it means all the decisions are made, the film is shooted, the editing is locked, and there is nobody that will say, oh, maybe I'm wrong here and here. So then I get the movie, and then there is a lot of analysis. about the movie itself. So the inspiration comes from the analysis that composer and director do watching the film. Technically speaking, this process is called a spotting session. Spotting session is the process in which the composer and the director sit down, watch the movie, and start to, first of all, to decide when, where, and why you need music, and to fix those markers on a paper or on a computer. And so you start to frame it, like, okay, we need 10, 20 cues, which has this length, start and stop there. Then why we need music is a big question, and which kind of music we need. So those three questions are the first fuel to get inspiration, because if you don't answer those questions, you have like a canvas without a frame, and then you can paint it, but you don't know where you go. So for me, a little bit like Stravinsky, I don't want to compare with him, but this is one of his poetical view. More you have a canvas, so a strict border, better you feel and better you find your inspiration. So that's why there is a lot of analysis. And if you give me a second, I can show you. I don't know if you will see it. Just give me a second, please. So let me check. Okay, I'm back. So just give you a picture of what it looks like. I mean, music is the last things you do. First of all this is the kind of all analysis you need to do. This is the last film I just finished it 2 days ago. It was the mix, and it took 5 months to finish this movie. Not because I needed that much time, but because the director was not sure and the film was not locked. So every time he was stopping and re-giving me the scene, and so there was a long process. This is I don't know if you can see it. This is what it's called spotting notes. So the spotting notes actually has, you see, the name of the cue, start, stop, length, description, what is this? Sound effects, notes, and director notes. So for each scene, you see how is it? You talk with the director, and then you write down, and then maybe this has to be bounded together, and then you continue to do this work like on paper, really. So this is how it works for each scene. And of course, as many as information you get for the movie you are going to do the music, like this one in particular is about a monk, so it's a period movie. And so I had to get all the information regarding the monk itself, the story, the period. It's set on the 12th century, so the instrumentation, it's very important, and the philosophy. And then you start to dig in, and then that's my particular way of work. You set up climax, like in the entire movie. There are part of those movies. Those part of movies has different climax: drama, slow, fast tempo, different editing, and so on. And so for each part of the movie, I set colors. You see, so each colors, it's a tema, a music tema. And so then you see you have a kind of a palette that reminds you where you have to go. obviously when you find the theme. I mean, if you find the right music theme that the director approved and say, yes, that's fantastic. This is great for this character. Oh, wonderful. This is great for the other character. Oh, this is crap. Just toss it. You know, this has happened. Sorry, I don't know if I use a bad words, but anyway. So that's the work. And to answer your question, inspiration comes at the end of this process. So it's never comes like you sit down, you see the movie and you play, because film music is not about just to underscore a scene. It's to say with the music what is the inner message of the movie, which the audience may not get it. You know, you probably can't see the message through the movie sometimes, but the music tells you. So that's the process that goes to the inspiration you were asking me, which I was very glad you asked me, because it's one of the topic of the film music process.
Thank you very much for that insight. Now, Dora.
So, if you were to experience a creative block, let's say, would you switch up this ritual or the way you work? How would you regain inspiration if a blockage were to happen?
I'm not sure I did hear very well. Can you repeat it, please, Helga? What because it's
what would you do if you experience a creative block of sorts? If you found yourself uninspired, would you switch up the way?
Oh, yes, yeah, that's another good question. Okay, let's say experience helps. So when this is a craft work. I mean, it's you learn just a very little part in school and in academy. You learn the basic, but then what is save you from the situation you just asked me is the experience. So one of the trick I use when I just stuck somewhere and I don't get inspiration, is to go forward. Like, for instance, and it's happened to me. It's happened also recently in this film as well. I mean, you're stuck somewhere and whatever you do, it doesn't work. And the director says, yeah, nice music, Michele. It's wonderful, but it doesn't fit. And then you retry again, and then you hope to go forward, but it's I mean, I know you are putting a lot of your energy, but it doesn't work. So then you're stuck. It means you can't find the key of that particular scene, right? So then the best thing is to go forward, to just don't do that. Go forward, find a place where you can find a nice input, right? So that say, oh, fantastic, this part of violin, or I don't know, the piano pattern. It's so inspiring, so charming. And then you perhaps after then you go back and you put that is inspiring you on the place where you were not inspired or it's stuck. Most of the time it's work. This trick works because the director that loves maybe the other things said, oh yeah, it's fitting. It's fitting the other scene, the previous one, you know. So that's one of the way that myself, I mean, in my experience, I found a way to go out from the sinking, let's say, you know, to save yourself and time also.
Okay, thank you. And what makes you proud of your work?
What makes me proud?
Yes.
Well, when you decide to be a film composer, you're a little bit crazy, because this is a business which is very, very unsecure business. It's a very difficult one. Needs a lot of years to break the wall and to dig in and to do the job. And what makes me proud is that is the film itself, because when it can be a well-paid job or not well-paid job, this is not about money. It's about the product you do. And when you do the right music for the film, the director is happy, like it's writing you, Michele, excellent, and it's and all those elements of the film, just dialogue and like a piece of puzzle chained together very well, then makes me proud. Like to finish a movie and see it and say, oh, I did a good job. I mean, everybody was happy. Producer is happy. Director is happy. Maybe many times, like this one, you saved the movie with the music, and that's make you proud. So when this happens, then of course you are proud of the job you do, because there is nothing more satisfying than do what you love. So making the movie, it's already a privilege. Making one movie, it's already a privilege. Making 3 or 4 movies a year is a huge privilege, and getting recognition and awards about it, it's a privilege. I mean, I don't consider that for granted. Every day, it's a step forward, and you need to you should not sit on your, this is the past. This is very important, but this is the past. I don't even remember it anymore. I mean, it just it's in the past. It's on my CV, but I can't stuck on that, because otherwise you don't move forward. So what's making me proud is the film itself, the good product I can deliver to the director, and when I see a happy director, I'm proud.
Great answer.
Thank you. Now, Josia will round up with some questions.
Yeah, I have all the time you want.
Just 6 minutes.
Well, we want to ask you about your future goals. Is there like anyone in particular you would like to collaborate with on a movie or in general?
As a director, you mean? Movie director? Well, there are plenty. I mean, there could be plenty, but it's if I think about Italians, for instance, Giuseppe Tornatore is one director I would love to work with, and Gabriele Muccino is another one. Well, and I can dream about to work with Scorsese and Tarantino, but Tarantino, I met Tarantino actually, but this is yeah, I step on his foot, by the way. yeah, it happens. No jokes, it happens in Los Angeles. I step on his foot. There's a nice story about that, because my father was, so with him, of course, my father was doing a movie in the 60s. It was Italian Western spaghetti, and he loves Italian Western spaghetti, right? And my father just gave to a common friend of my father and Tarantino, a wallpaper of that movie. And when Tarantino came years ago in Rome, and he went to the office of this guy, saw the wallpaper, and he wanted that wallpaper. So they called my father and said, look, there is a guy here that wants the wallpaper. You know who is he? It's Tarantino. So my father went there, and then at the end he agreed that his friend would give the wallpaper to Tarantino. And after years, I went to Los Angeles for the premiere of Nebraska, a movie with Laura there, and it was in the Chinese theater. and there was this premiere full of, you know, actors and actresses and nice people, and I was just sitting just a few meters from Tarantino, but I didn't recognize him. And I was with a film editor, which is an Oscar Butters. It's a friend of us, and when, you know, when the film finished, we all had to run to the party, after party, and then I, you know, take my things, and then I stepped to a food guy. Then I just raised my eyes, and it was Tarantino, which was like this, and I was like this, freezing. I didn't even say sorry, and then I said, "Oh, sorry," like an idiot, and then we met in the after parties, and so that's a coincidence. But you know, there is a Ridley Scott is a wonderful director. Terrence Malick is a wonderful director. Terrence Malick, I love it. The Thin Red Line. It's a movie, a war movie. I think it's 15 years ago he did that. You should see it. You should watch it if you didn't. And so Tim Burton, you name it. But you know, there are many independent film director which are extremely talented, and with which you are I am extremely happy and glad to work with, you know. So it's not just a big name, it's the director itself.
Yeah, we don't have
Okay.
any more time.
But I have a question for you. Can I?
Yeah, of course.
So you are all musicians, right? No, you're not musician. Is anyone there a musician? Is anyone there? Okay, is anyone there that is willing to do film composing? No? Okay. Okay, well, you're very young, who knows?
Yes, who knows? Michele, thank you for coming and for taking the to join us today. It was a real privilege to have you here with us. And I hope to see you soon on some other occasion.
Thank you so very much. It was a pleasure for me, and I'm always very, you know, very excited and very happy when I can talk with the you know, with the youngest, let's say, and the students, and share some of my experience, and I will be, you know, ready and willing to do it again if you wish, whenever.
Thank
So
you so much.
very pleasure for me. Very pleasure.